Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mixed Bag of Wrestling. Now this is a little different. The thing is that I usually will look at what's going on in TNA or WWE. I don't usually look at a lot of any type of British television when it comes to wrestling. That has not been done. But I do watch other videos that are people from Britain, like the British Fist. I also saw Anwar, I believe, Anwar Thanks. He's another guy. Or Anwar Thinks, sorry. Now, I just saw his video on TNA's British boot camp. I was actually quite surprised. Since they didn't mention it in the United States, my guess is that the way British boot camp is going to play out is that they'll show the entire series in England, of course, but we won't see anything about this person until they get the contract, and then they'll show a little backstory of that person going through British boot camp from TNA. Now, I had a chance to see, as they show it, episode 1 and 2. It's probably just one episode and it's broken into 2 parts. Now, seeing these 4 people, the Blossom Twins, they didn't talk about who was who, their names, just the Blossom Twins. Rockstar Spud and Marty Skull. I have a problem pronouncing him. This is a very interesting situation for me personally, that seeing a reality show as a work or as an actual thing is quite interesting. Now, from what I can tell from the other shows that I watched, I think I watched about 2 shows of a review of British Boot Camp TNA, is they basically say it's basically a work. Now, some of it probably is a work, some of it is probably a shoot. Now, the guy they had for the actual segment, I forgot his name, is a very famous British pro wrestler legend. I believe he was Thunder or Thunder Roll. I could be wrong about the name. I don't recognize him. So, doesn't mean he isn't a famous British wrestler. Don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, I just don't know about him. But this British wrestler, who pretty much seemed pretty good from what I can tell from some of the work he did in the ring. And I'll connect British Boot Camp episode 1. No, I think episode 2 would be better to look at than episode 1. You know what? Forget this. I'm going to put both episodes in, so you have a chance to look at it for yourself and see what you think about it. And leave a comment below what you think about episode 1 and 2 of TNA's British Boot Camp. But from what I can tell from the first episode, it was mainly just seeing how the characters acted. It had a little taste of, in a short, condensed form, of what, for what I can remember, of Tough Enough. Around 2011, 2010's Tough Enough. It doesn't even, I don't think comes close to Tough Enough, the original. Totally different. But the way the Blossom Twins acted, they acted like they were teachers all the time. At least when they were in the limo. For Rockstar Spud, a couple of things with him. One, if he's the one that makes it, which I believe all 4 of them will make it, they'll go to OVW and then in some form or fashion they'll be brought out later. He gives off an X-Division type of person, and he doesn't look like he'll go any farther than that. He does have personality. Don't get it wrong. He's not an Austin Aries. Austin Aries, the greatest man that ever lived, baby. He has an attitude that is just way larger than life than Rockstar Spud. I can see it. You can see from these characters who will actually make it the most. Now, Marty Skull, who actually knows Magnus, supposedly, because he was shown in the show along with Tara, but Magnus is the one who was primarily brought here. It wasn't Douglas Williams. I would have liked to see Douglas Williams brought in this, but since Magnus knows Marty directly, it makes perfect sense that he'll understand what's going on, since they both came up together. Marty has this feeling of someone who will make it to the main event. I do believe he'll go for the X-Division first. That's what I get the feeling of. Will he be prominently featured is a question of how he's going to be done for the next episodes of British Boot Camp. Since we will not see this in the United States, It's going to be interesting how they structure it. Unlike seeing it in the United States, they let you curse and say fuck and shit on the show because the British broadcasting system is way different than American. They don't allow you to curse unless it's on cable. So here, you can actually hear them cursing, which I found very refreshing. Now, I do watch some British comedy television. I've seen some of Doctor Who, the current one. I do not like the current one that much compared to the old original series. That's just me. Tom Baker, he's the best. I'm sorry to say. All the others are good. Patrick Petrie is good. William Hartnell, who started it, was an excellent doctor. But only one I will always think is the best doctor, and that will be Tom Baker. But taking away from that, sorry, kind of floating off of this mixed bag of wrestling. What I got from this is a reality possible work shoot show where these guys and girls will be put through their paces in OVW. I don't think they're going to go any farther than that. Maybe we'll see Joseph Park. We will see several of the people like Zema Ion and everybody else. It's going to be a question how much incorporation OVW will be put into this. This will actually be quite interesting. And I'm actually quite sad that they won't do this for American television. If they do show this on Spike, it would actually be a very interesting thing if they do a special on Spike of TNA's British Boot Camp premiering and sponsoring OVW. We need this. OVW is not featured much unless it's through Joseph Park. This is the best time to actually premiere OVW. We know it's the developmental territory for TNA, of course. It used to be the development territory for WWE, where they made their biggest stars from. But right now, TNA is not featuring it as it should be featured. Putting it through British television is an understandable thing, but doing a special on it, maybe a pay-per-view, do a pay-per-view of this, of just showing how OVW is structured and doing it through British Boot Camp would actually be a very good idea. I'm hoping they would do this, but I don't believe they will. They'll show briefly of the current stars on the TNA roster. I believe they're going to show mostly the OVW roster, and the women and the guys who are currently in there, they will show them that way. So these four characters, the Blossom Twins, Rockstar Spud, and Marty Scoff, will be interacting with the OVW people. Do I believe this is going to be good television? It's hard to say. Since this really looks like a work shoot, most of it is going to be a work. Maybe some shoot will be added in, but not by much. It won't be a tough enough. It won't. I'm sorry. This isn't tough enough. This is more of a watered down version of Tough Enough. So I would put it as a possible interest to American fans who really want more into the TNA back part of it, because seeing it through the British point of view is actually a very good thing. I really believe seeing this by a British point of view will enrich anyone who's just into the American part of TNA, because they do great work in basically England. Let's be honest, anyone who's from America who's watching this, if you don't see the British product, I don't see much of it, but what bit I do get is a lot more interesting. They do a lot more cursing in the British product. They'll give you a lot more backstory than in the British product some of the time than you would see in the American version of it. So really, we'll get a little bit more than what we normally would see. And you would be more invested in these four people. And seeing OVW on its website and any shows you can actually get will actually make it more interesting. I'm sure they have to put this through OVW. There's no other place to take it. Unless they're going to be stupid enough to lead them out of OVW, they're going to be in a separate gym. That would be dumb. So I'm sure it's going to be with the OVW roster. We will be seeing Silva. We'll be seeing maybe periodically Ion, because Ion's not seen on television a lot. He's probably over in OVW like most of the other people in the roster. Kenny King will probably be seen in OVW from time to time. And they'll probably bring out some of the older veterans. Maybe we'll see an RVD on there. We are going to see a Sting on episode 3. We're going to see Angle. So who knows who else we're going to see. So my take on this, it has possible promise, but it's still a question mark. So I hope you like this mixed bag of wrestling, and I hope you enjoyed this ZANE'S View. Please subscribe and comment to my channel. Tell me what you think about this and the shows I create. If it needs some more work, if it don't need no work, if you like me with a bandana or not, just give me an idea, and have a good night.